Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha television. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Both houses of parliament adjourned till March 5th. On the last day of the first part of the budget session, Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu expresses anguish over the functioning of the House. Calls for improvement when Parliament meets again. Floor leaders of various parties object to the social media posts using objectionable language against the chairman, reiterate full faith and confidence in Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu. Rajya Sabha continues discussion on Union Budget. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley responds to the discussion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaves on a 4-day visit to Palestine, UAE and Oman. First Indian Prime Minister to visit Palestine and Oman. Ahead of visit, Prime Minister says Gulf and West Asia key for India's foreign policy. And Kerala, Punjab, Tamil Nadu and Gujarat emerge as leaders in the state of health in the country. UP, Rajasthan, Bihar and Odisha perform poorly. Niti Aayog releases health index report on various parameters. Well, the first part of the 245th session of the Rajya Sabha concluded on Friday and the House was adjourned till March 5th to meet for the second half of the budget session. Giving details of the proceedings in the session, Chairman Venkaiah Naidu expressed disappointment over frequent disruptions in the House, stating that the House lost 10 hours due to forced adjournments. He also appealed to all the members to contribute to the smooth functioning and constructive debate in the House.
Saying this with the elders, we are coming to the end of the first part of the 245th session of the Rajya Sabha today, and we shall be meeting again after about a month to continue our discussions on the budget. I must confess that I am deeply pained at the way the session has progressed. As a chairman, it is my responsibility because at the end of the day, I am accountable to the people. They will see how the House is conducted, how discussions have went on. I was deeply disturbed is the utter disregard for the parliamentary procedure and the unruly behavior so unbecoming of the high position we occupy in the society as parliamentarians. Dear members, the question I have been asking myself and probably many Indians watching us on the television screens would be thinking of is this: can we ever make our parliament an effective instrument of change through informed debate, constructive criticism and orderly proceedings? I was hoping that we shall collectively strive to uphold and maintain the dignity, sanctity and supremacy of Parliament as we had pledged in 2012 to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the sitting of the Parliament. I shall still keep hoping that we shall exercise the necessary restraint and behave with appropriate civility and dignity. I find it sad commentary that on the functioning that we had lost nearly 10 hours during this brief session due to disruptions and forced adjournments. We could not have question hour on 5 days and also no 0 hour on 5 days. Dear members, we certainly should not go in this manner any longer. I appeal to each one of you, please consider this as a sacred institution which should reflect the hopes and aspirations of 130 crore people. This is not aimed at any party, this party or that party. As far as the chair is concerned, I am concerned about the House. It is an institution that decides their destinies and charts the direction of national development. That's why people have high hopes on us. We are so privileged to be in this House because of the people's trust in us. We must use the opportunity wisely by debating, discussing and evolving solutions to a vast number of public concerns. Let us not have slanging matches between parties and stoop down to competing with each other on unparliamentary language or behavior. And we meet again in March. It's my fervent hope and earnest appeal to each one of you that we shall turn a new leaf in our Parliament's history through orderly, informed and constructive debates. Friends, honorable members, over the last few days, I have been telling floor leaders of the quality debate on the motion of thanks to the President, either from this side or at that side. And I am very much impressed the way the debate was initially conducted and the contribution made positively from that side and also critically from this side in their own way. They have got every right and we have such a good parliamentarians here who has the capacity to articulate, capacity to argue, and also capacity to put forth their point of view. That being the case, and we have such a talented material in all sides, why should we lose the opportunity to have the debate? That's only my concern. Other things and all, each individual actions and all, I'm not going to make any comment, and whatever has happened, that has been clarified in the morning, so I'm not even touching that. And then some people have given notice, that notice has been taken note, that has been already announced, and there was some mention about Rajya Sabha by Sri Derek O'Brien, that also has been inquired into, and a report has been given. It has been sent to the honorable members also. There was some power failure. So friends, I only request every one of you, please keep the prestige, the decorum of this august house. We are supposed to be the elders. So keep that in mind, and then respond in such a manner so that the prestige of the house goes up. I am keen that such atmosphere and quality debates will become a regular feature like we had in the recent past.
Well, moving on now, replying to the discussion on the union budget, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley rebutted the opposition's criticism on various measures listed in the budget. Highlighting the flaws in the UPA regime's management of the Indian economy, he said that the NDA government, despite inheriting a lot of fiscal problems, had kept the economy on track.
और आप किस व्यवस्था में छोड़ के गए 5.3 एंड 6.3, और आपके जाते ही क्या हुआ? 7.5%, 8.2%, 7.1%, और जिसको स्लो डाउन ईयर कहते हैं स्ट्रक्चरल रिफॉर्म की वजह से 6.7%. Look who's talking. आप 5.3 और 6.3 की जीडीपी 2 वर्ष छोड़ के गए हैं. राइट टू फूड यानी फूड सब्सिडी इस साल 1,70,000 करोड़ है.
प्लीज.
और इसलिए अगर हम किसी भी सरकार में ये कार्यक्रम शुरू हुए हो, ग्रामीण सड़कों पे जो खर्च होता था उससे कई गुना ज्यादा, 27,000 करोड़ सालाना. किसी भी लोकसभा सांसद से पूछ लीजिए उसके क्षेत्र में कितना खर्च हो रहा है. गांव को सड़क से जोड़ देना, गांव के भीतर घर मिल जाना, गांव के अंदर शौचालय बन जाना, स्वच्छ भारत और शौचालय निर्माण हुआ है पिछले 3-4 वर्षों में जिस गति के ऊपर देश में बढ़ा है, वो अपने आप में एक नया इतिहास लिख रहा है.
Well, the Rajya Sabha resumed a discussion on the Union Budget 2018-19 on Friday. Initiating the discussion, Samajwadi Party MP Neeraj Shekhar termed the budget anti-poor. TMC member Derek O'Brien raised 12 questions for Railway Minister Piyush Goyal on the rail budget. He also targeted the government on GST. Left and NCP members raised the issue of decrease in allocation of money for education in the budget.
जब एक पकौड़ा बेचने वाला अपना पेट काटकर अपने बच्चे को पढ़ाता है, उसको इंजीनियर बनाता है, उसको डॉक्टर बनाता है, उसको सीए बनाता है, तब वो क्या चाहता है कि उसका बेटा भी उसके बगल में खड़ा होकर पकौड़ा बेचे? प्रधानमंत्री बन सकते हैं, चाय बेचने वाला का बेटा प्रधानमंत्री बन सकता है, लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री चाहते हैं कि पकौड़ा बेचने वाला बेटा पकौड़ा बेचने वाला बने.
जीएसटी जितना हायर नंबर रहेगा उतना खराब, और जितना लो नंबर रहेगा उतना अच्छा. तो लॉस ड्यू टू जीएसटी हमारा बंगाल में सबसे लोएस्ट लॉस 580 करोड़, गुजरात का लॉस 1100 करोड़, बिहार का लॉस 1000 करोड़, कर्नाटक का लॉस 2000 crores. So the system is not ready for GST, sir.
Right to education, which we have been implementing for the last almost 1 decade, it has become very ineffective because every year the allocation for education is proportionally decreasing, and because of that our claim that we can develop our youth as our major source of income, major source of wealth of the country, for the coming decades, it is becoming a complete failure.
The budget talks about setting up of these chain of schools. On the other side, it cuts the allocations of Kendriya Vidyalayas and Jawaharlal Navodaya Vidyalayas. In fact, sir, even as far as the higher education space is concerned, the total budgetary allocations for IITs has been decreased from 8,244 crores to 6,326 crores in 2018-19. So there is a cut also in the IIMs and the UGCs.
What is crony socialism, sir? What is stigmatized capitalism? Does the government have any understanding? This is where I am calling you are suffering from ideological bankruptcy. You are suffering from ideological hypocrisy. And that's what I am saying. If you talk about stigmatized capitalism, what do you mean by stigmatized capitalism? It is you who are building crony capitalism, corporate capitalism in this country. And that is what your budget reflects.
महंगाई के जहां तक सवाल है, तो ये सब लोग बार बार ये सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, अदर नीरज जी ने सबने पूछा कि जो पेट्रोल डीजल का जाम जो विश्व बाजार में गिरे उसका कोई फायदा क्यों नहीं मिल पा रहा है। 3 साल से हम सब पूछ रहे हैं, 4 साल से, और सचमुच उसका फायदा 75 रुपए प्रति लीटर आज की तारीख में पेट्रोल है इस समय दिल्ली में, और 64 रुपए का डीजल है। इससे महंगाई रुक ही नहीं सकती, कोई इसका सीधे असर महंगाई पर होता है। तो इसके लिए सरकार जो है कुछ ना कुछ इतने दिन उन्होंने किया, लेकिन अब कितना फायदा कंज्यूमर को पास ऑन होता है, उपभोक्ता को, ये बताने की कृपा वित्त मंत्री को जरूर करनी चाहिए।
आपने हम पर उम्मीदें लगाई हैं, हम आपकी उम्मीदों पर पूरा खरा उतरेंगे और आने वाले दिनों में ये सारी चीजें हम पूरी करने पर तत्पर हैं। चाहे स्वास्थ्य का होगा, चाहे जन के कृषि का होगा, चाहे किसान का होगा, चाहे जन के अच्छे पढ़े लिखे नौजवान का होगा, हम बेरोजगारी को दूर करने का भी प्रयास हर प्रकार कर सकते हैं।
Meanwhile, floor leaders of major parties in the Rajya Sabha today strongly objected to a Facebook post using objectionable language against the chairman. The leaders asserted that Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu is conducting proceedings of the House, giving opportunities to all to raise issues, and they have full faith in him. They also appealed to the member concerned to apologize to the chair for bringing down the dignity of Parliament by making his opinion vocal on social media.
Please tell me.
माननीय चेयरमैन साहब, हम सबको इस चेयर पर विश्वास है और हम लोग सम्मान भी चेयर की करते हैं। कल श्रीमन फेसबुक पे इस सदन के एक माननीय सदस्य ने माननीय चेयर के लिए कुछ ऐसे शब्द लिख दिए जो शब्द संसदीय नहीं है, जो शब्द किसी प्रकार नहीं लिखने चाहिए, क्योंकि हम लोग को पूरा अधिकार है, चेयर हमसे कुछ भी कह दे, हमें जो कहना चेयर से कमरे में कह दें। लेकिन इस तरह फेसबुक या सोशल मीडिया पर जाने में इस सदन की गर्मा गिरती है, कुर्सी की गर्मा गिरती है। तो मैं इस बात को कह रहा हूँ, वो माननीय सदस्य से मैं कहूँगा कि वो चेयरमैन से खेद प्रकट कर लें, चेयरमैन से माफ़ी मांग लें, और हम सब जानते हैं कि आप पे पार्शियलिटी होने का सवाल ही नहीं उठता, हम सबको न्याय मिलता है। ये मेरा
हम सब सदन के अंदर चेयर के सम्मान के साथ हम लोग कार्यवाही में सब लोग भाग लेते हैं। मेरा ये आग्रह है कि संसद में आपस में हमारे राजनीतिक दलों के एक दूसरे से वैचारिक मतभिन्नताएं हो सकती हैं, राजनीतिक दलों की कार्यवाही पे एक दूसरे पे आक्षेप कर सकते हैं, पर जहां तक चेयर का सवाल है, हम सब लोग चेयर से बंधे हुए हैं सर, और इसलिए जिन भी सदस्यों ने फेसबुक पे या सोशल मीडिया में इस प्रकार का उपयोग किया है, निश्चित रूप से सदन की भी अवमानना है और संसदीय परंपरा के भी ये खिलाफ है। इसलिए जो नरेश जी ने कहा, मैं आग्रह करूंगा कि उनको ये खेद व्यक्त करना चाहिए,
क्योंकि फेसबुक हमारे बस का है नहीं ना, हम जानते हैं ना पढ़ते हैं कभी, लेकिन मैं तो अभी इनसे सुन रहा हूँ। ये बहुत अफसोस की बात है कि इस तरह की चीजें फेसबुक पे आ जाएं और चेयर पे, कोई भी चेयर, और लीस्ट ऑन चेयरमैन, इसके हम पूरी निंदा करते हैं और मेरे ख्याल में हर पूरे सदन को इससे डिसएसोसिएट करना चाहिए।
The Honorable Chairman of the Rajya Sabha gives us enough opportunities to discuss any grievance we have with him. Going with these issues, we can always talk to the chairman in confidence. We do not need to go to any part of the social media to express ourselves. We clearly want to tell you this, sir.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Lok Sabha was adjourned till March 5th when the Parliament will meet again for the second part of the budget session. TDP members in the lower house raised the issue of special status to Andhra Pradesh. The Congress tried to raise the issue of the Rafale jet deal today. First, the House was adjourned till 12 noon and then for the day. Before this, TDP and YSR Congress MPs protested in Parliament premises demanding a special package for Andhra Pradesh. The TDP has alleged that the budget has not done justice to the state. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley had yesterday assured in the Lok Sabha that the centre will work out a solution in the next couple of days. Well, leaders from 15 opposition parties led by Congress President Rahul Gandhi submitted a memorandum to the President Ramnath Kovind on Friday demanding an independent investigation into the death of Judge B.H. Loya. The memorandum was signed by 114 parliamentarians. It called for a Supreme Court monitored probe but stressed that officials of the CBI or the NIA should not be a part of it as they have no faith in them.
Large numbers of MPs both in the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, 114 of them felt a sense of discomfort. They felt that a judge of the High Court has died, district court, special CBI, has died under suspicious circumstances. And it is owed to that judge and his family that the investigation should be done properly and effectively.
Well, Niti Aayog on Friday launched the Healthy States Progressive Report. While Kerala, Punjab and Tamil Nadu topped the overall health index in larger states, Mizoram, Manipur topped the ranking among smaller states. This report is expected to nudge states towards achieving a rapid transformation of their health systems and population health outcomes. Kriti Mishra reports.
The Healthy States Progressive Report was released on Friday. It marks the first step to systematically assess the nation's performance on various health parameters. Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant, Ministry of Health Secretary Preeti Sudan and India Country Director of World Bank Junaid Ahmed released the report.
We create a baseline key. All states are at this level. And then what is the change that has taken place and record the change. And we've got some very interesting data that some states in eastern part of India and the central part of India have moved up very fast.
Among large states, the report ranks Kerala, followed by Punjab, Tamil Nadu and Gujarat as the best performers. States that performed poorly in the health index include Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar and Odisha. Among the large states, Jharkhand, Jammu and Kashmir and Uttar Pradesh are the top 3 ranking states in terms of annual incremental performance. Among small states, Mizoram ranked first, followed by Manipur and Goa. Among union territories, Lakshadweep showed both best overall performance and high incremental performance. The states were ranked on health outcomes, governance and information on health.
It also tells us where we are in terms of absolute standards, each one of them, and a scope for self-improvement. Like in golf game, you are competing with your own self to do better and better. States are responsible for huge spending that they do. 2/3 of the health spending, you'll be surprised, is actually provided by the state governments. The union government gives 1/3.
The Health Index report noted that states and UTs that start at lower levels of development are at an advantage in notching up incremental progress over states with high health index scores. At the same time, it is a challenge for states with high index scores to maintain their performance levels. The report also stresses upon the need to improve data systems in the health sector in terms of representatives of priority areas, periodic availability of all states and union territories, and completeness of private sector service delivery. Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a tour of 3 West Asian countries on Friday. The Prime Minister left in the afternoon and landed in Amman, Jordan, a quick stopover on his way to Palestine. The Prime Minister tweeted soon after landing and thanked King Abdullah II of Jordan for facilitating the transit to Palestine. On Saturday, the Prime Minister will begin his three-nation tour from Palestine, the first by an Indian Prime Minister. He will hold bilateral talks with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. He will then leave for the UAE later in the day and then on the final leg to Muscat on February 11th. Energy and Security Cooperation will be the top agenda on Prime Minister Modi's visit, along with the trade and investments and counter-terror efforts. During his visit, the Prime Minister will also meet Indian expatriates in the UAE and in Oman.
Rajya Sabha television team is in the Palestinian city of Ramallah. India-Palestine ties goes back to our own history of independence, and it still continues.
Very happy for Indian support for Palestinian.
India is very good for Palestine.
Will Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Palestine give a new impetus to India-Palestine ties?
Marhaba, namaste.
Welcome, India. Follow Rajya Sabha TV for our coverage of Prime Minister's visit to Palestine.
Well, our Foreign Affairs editor Akhilesh Suman is in Ramallah to cover this historic visit by the Prime Minister. He visited the Yasser Arafat Museum in Ramallah, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be going on Saturday to pay his tributes to the tallest leader of the Palestinian national movement.
We are in Ramallah of Palestine, and now we are in front of Yasser Arafat's museum. Yasser Arafat was tallest leader of Palestine, and he was also one of the tallest leaders of the world. Yasser Arafat always supported India, and Yasser Arafat was considered one of the best friends of India. Since Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming to Palestine for the first time as a Prime Minister, this is the biggest tribute that he will come, and he will begin his journey to Palestine from this museum. This is the biggest tribute not from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but also from the people of India. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha television with camera person Junaid in Ramallah.
Well, ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic visit, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said that he will discuss India's role in the Middle East peace process. Abbas said that he would like India to have a role in creating a multilateral forum of negotiations between Palestinians and Israelis to reach a final agreement. He also said that he will discuss the recent updates that led to heightened tension in the region following the United States' unilateral decision to declare Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. The Palestinian president stressed that this visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi will culminate the historic ties between the two brotherly people. It will also help in increasing and strengthening the ties that both countries possess. Well, shifting focus to some business news now, where domestic stock markets that had bounced back yesterday after falling for 7 straight days on Friday plunged again to close 1.18% down. The BSE Sensex slumped 407 points to end at 34,006. Similarly, the NSE Nifty lost 122 points or 1.15% to 10,455. Analysts said contentious outflows by foreign funds hit the trading sentiments. The Indian rupee also weakened to a fresh 2-month low against US dollars after fears of higher interest rates by the US Federal Reserve led to a fresh plunge in global markets. Well, moving on to some other news now, the Supreme Court today passed a slew of directions for the effective implementation of Juvenile Justice Act. A 2-judge bench directed the centre and states to ensure that all positions in national and state commissions for the protection of child rights are filled up. It also asked them to ensure that all positions in juvenile justice boards and child welfare committees are filled up expeditiously and in accordance with the rules. The bench said that any delay in filling up the positions might adversely impact children, and this should be avoided. The top court also asked all high courts to seriously consider establishing child-friendly courts and vulnerable witness courts in each district. Well, addressing the auto summit in the national capital, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu stressed on the need for change in the automobile industry to overcome environmental hazards. The summit has been organized by the Federation of Automobile Dealers Association. Here's a report.
Services Limited, and he's also the president of the
The 10th Auto Summit kick-started in the national capital on Friday with Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu as the chief guest. Addressing the summit, Vice President Naidu stressed on the need to protect the environment and called on automobile industry to meet future requirements by adopting newer, cleaner technologies that are environmentally sustainable.
It's not for the Green Tribunal to advise us. All of us, we should take care of the planet, take care of the environment, and work accordingly by making necessary changes, by bringing necessary transformation.
The Vice President also said that all partners of the automobile sector should ensure transparency and accountability through negotiations.
Everybody should follow ethical standards and also be transparent and then accountable. That is the message I want to give to all of you, because there is no time now, because the world is moving faster and we also should join that. And India, with all its wisdom, with the talent, with the knowledge, we cannot lag behind.
The 10th Auto Summit will see keynotes, panel discussions, one-on-one interactions with key industry decision makers. Around 1,000 representatives are taking part in the summit this year with the theme Control Our Destiny. Navikram Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Some international news now. US lawmakers today voted to pass a 2-year budget, avoiding a second shutdown of the government in 2018. The measures have passed the Senate and the House but needs to be signed off by President Trump. Federal funding for government services expired at midnight after the Senate missed a voting deadline. The 650-page plan proposes an increase in spending by about $300 billion on defense and domestic services. While the spending bill's funding for the Pentagon delighted the national security wing of the party, fiscal conservatives were concerned about ramifications for the nation's debt. The House approved the bill by 240 votes to 186. The Senate had passed it by 71 to 28 3 hours earlier.
If not, the yeas are 71, the nays are 28. The motion to concur in the House amendment to the Senate amendment to H.R. 1892 with an amendment is agreed to.
Well, the 23rd Winter Olympics kick-started in South Korea's mountain resort of Pyeongchang, 80 kilometers from the North's border. The opening ceremony started with fireworks. In the opening ceremony, puppets and dancers performed on the stage. The parade of athletes was the center of the attraction. The delegations of Ghana, Eritrea and Nigeria were among the first to enter. Ahead of the grand opening ceremony, the North Korean delegation arrived with state leader Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Yo-jong and senior-most North Korean official Kim Yong-nam. They were greeted at the airport by South Korean Unification Minister Cho Myong-gyon. Amid South Korean residents welcomed the rare visit of a North Korean delegation. A 137-member North Korean orchestra also performed a day prior to the Winter Olympics. The performance is the first by North Koreans in the South since 2000. It will stage its second and last performance in Seoul on Sunday. Nearly 3,000 athletes from 93 countries will compete for a record 102 medals for 15 different sports. North Korea has nominated 22 athletes to compete in 3 sports. The tournament will conclude on February 25th. North and South Korea marched under a unified flag at the opening ceremony at the Winter Olympics and will also field a united team in the women's ice hockey. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.